Hi, everybody. It's Will Tiao with the Los Angeles Multifamily Meetup Group. We're just waiting for some more folks to join, so kindly hang out and we'll be starting shortly.
Sorry, Will. I'm muting myself, but you'll be able to. I'll be able to hear you, and I'll unmute myself if you.
Sure, no problem. Zoom is not letting me into the room. Not sure exactly.
Say again.
Sevan saying that the Zoom is not letting him into the room. I'm wondering if we have the right link for people. Let's see. Did he register?
Let me check on here really quick. 1 second. Sevan, there he is.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah, he just came on.
Okay.
I think he just came on. Yeah, there he is. Perfect.
Hey, Sevan.
Hey, Will. Sorry, I was having some difficulty.
Yeah, I saw your email. I was trying to figure out how to get you on.
Saying, not authorized participant.
Oh.
But I'm here.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. We're just people are just starting to fill in. So to everybody else, hello. We're going to be starting here in a couple of minutes. People are still just kind of filling in. I see a lot of people have their videos not playing. Just to let you know, this is going to be interactive. So we're going to ask everybody to turn on their cameras and introduce themselves and everything. So just a warning. So Sevan, you at your office in Glendale?
Yeah, I'm on Brand Boulevard.
Nice.
I sit in this office all day long.
Very good.
Either I'm yelling at someone or they're yelling at me.
Right. The lovely world of bankruptcy.
Yeah. No, but I'm usually, just solving problems left and right.
Sure, understood. We got a few more coming in right now. Start in just a couple of minutes.
I have my PowerPoint slides that I'll share on the screen whenever we're ready.
Sure, absolutely, and we'll make you a co-host, no problem.
Great.
There we go.
How have you been?
I've been good. It's been very busy in the world of real estate. I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah, I know I'm getting the invites. It says to let them in.
I'm letting them in as they come in,
okay.
no problem. Yeah.
If my mom is there, I'm going to say no. Oh, she did. She's like, because she saw my post, she goes, "Oh, I'll be there." I'm like, "No, Mom, it's
You're like,
everybody
no,
except you."
don't come.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Because I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to explain to my mom like what I do. I mean, she understands bankruptcy, but
well, this would have been a good opportunity.
No, I mean, I think she's like, I think she thinks I'm like Harvey Specter, walking up and down the hallway. Like, No, Mom, I just sit in my chair and I tell people what to do, you know.
That's so funny.
So yeah, she thinks like I'm in court 8 to 5.
So I think we're going to get started here. I would appreciate, I mean, everybody's kind of on mute and, you know, so this is kind of more of an interactive, for those of you who have been here before, we want to get, you know, audience participation here. So I am going to ask everybody to unmute. And if you don't mind, turn on all your cameras. You know, we'd love to meet you and see you. For those of you who have not been here before, my name is Will Tiao. I am a broker associate with the Collective Realty in West Hollywood. I am the director of the commercial real estate division. And I also own a property management company called Tiao Properties. We manage several hundred units throughout Los Angeles. I tend to focus on multifamily investing. And I'm also an investor and developer myself. That's my introduction. I would love to have everybody, you know, do a similar introduction if you don't mind. So I see Chris. So I'm going to ask you to start if you don't mind.
All right, how's it going, everyone? Thanks for letting me join. This is my first meetup with you guys. I am a real estate investment agent and hopefully a soon-to-be real multifamily investor. I'm looking in the 5+ space with my business partner, and we're looking to get something in contract in the next few months. Also help newer investors in the education and planning piece of understanding multifamily investments here in LA County and Orange County. And looking forward to the session tonight.
Fantastic. And where are you based, Chris?
I'm in Huntington Beach.
Nice. Very
Cool.
nice.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Ken, I see you. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Great. My name is Ken Dennis. I'm actually an agent here at the Collective. I do work with Will on a lot of the multifamily sales and buying side, and here to learn.
You're also do leases as well.
I do leases as well, a lot of leases.
Very good. Takeshi, I see you've joined us. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, nice to meet you all. My name is Takeshi. So I'm part-time I'm part-time real estate investor. I'm doing the real estate since 2009. So mainly I buying the out-of-state properties. So in Memphis, Texas, and Utah in the past, and then also like some of the investment into the syndications. So I just want to I just had this meetup, so I just want to check out and I want to learn from all of you guys. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Ellen Chu, joining us from the Bay Area. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Will, and hi, Ken. I'm a client of Will. I'm overseeing a family trust, and I'm taking care of some rental properties. So I'm working closely with Will. And I'm here to just kind of learn general real estate principles, bankruptcy.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Ellen. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, Adam.
Good to see you too.
Kwong says, hi, I am at my desktop, no camera, please excuse me. No worries, but do you mind unmuting yourself and introducing yourself, Kwong? Okay, we'll ask you to unmute yourself. How about David Watts? Do you mind introducing yourself, unmuting? Okay. If either of you feel, yeah, there you go.
Sorry, I got
No worries.
it. I'm homesick today, so I'm not going to subject you guys to my sickly appearance.
No worries.
It's already bad enough working from home, and then you add being sick to it, and then it's even worse. So anyway, I am a potential investor. This is my second meetup to come to. I'm a potential investor for commercial rental property, preferably something in the 5 to 8 or 5 to 10 type space, but I'm just educating myself and trying to learn about it right now. I would be also interested in learning how to cash flow it all correctly, how to find something that's undervalued, be able to purchase it, and then hold it for a while. I would like the property to pay for itself while it appreciates. And I would prefer to not get any calls from a tenant, so that would include property management.
Fair enough. Well, I think you found the right spot. This is exactly everything you just described is exactly what we cover in this meetup. For those of you who have been here before, you know, we talk about all those issues, and we'll get into it, you know, as soon as everybody's introduced themselves. JR, are you available to talk? Are you with us? JR Riganon.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm just here to listen in. I'm just learning a little bit more about the real estate industry.
Understood. And are you an investor or an agent or?
I'm an agent. I'm a new
Very
agent.
good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I see someone, I just see their initials, MY. I don't know what your name is, but if you don't mind just introducing yourself. I don't think that was her or him. They're staying silent. Kwang, I haven't heard from you. And Daniel, you just joined us. We're asking everybody to, MY just said, sorry, I am unable to talk. Daniel, L just joined us. If you don't mind, we're just doing quick introductions. If you don't mind just introducing yourself, you know, kind of your name, what you do, and what your interest is in joining us today. Daniel? Okay. Well, I guess Daniel and Kwang, whenever you feel like joining in, feel free to. So once again, my name is Will Tiao, and we're obviously here to talk about multifamily investment properties. What I always do at this time is kind of give a quick update on the market. Right now, the market is stronger than it has been since the beginning of the pandemic. There's a lot of interest right now in multifamily properties. I think that people, you know, there was an assumption. Oh, we just had someone else join us. I'm just going to let them introduce themselves. Hi, Jim. Do you mind unmuting yourself and introducing yourself? There you go.
Hi, Jim Moore. I finally got in. A little difficulty, but I'm here.
Okay, great. Please introduce yourself. We're just kind of doing quick introductions. So.
Oh, I'm a realtor with Keller Williams, Hollywood Hills.
Very good. Very good.
Hi, this is Daniel.
Kwang is here. Kwang, yeah, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi,
you're muted.
Oh,
Hi everybody. I'm sorry, I have to log on from my phone. So my name is Quang. I have been investing in commercial properties, but not in multifamily business. So I'm here to learn more about the business and learn from you guys all as well.
Absolutely.
So I'm from San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, okay, nice. We have two Bay Area folks. Welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, this is pretty standard. You know, a lot of times when we do these meetups, we get a lot of real estate agents, oftentimes residential, who are looking to get into multifamily. We get a lot of multifamily agents too, who are looking to discuss off-market deals, which we always discuss. We get a lot of investors, a lot of landlords, you know, asking, you know, how the market is and everything. So I was just starting to say that the market, as we're seeing it, is the strongest it's been since the pre-pandemic, and obviously pre-pandemic was really, really strong. We are seeing that lenders are being a little bit more cautious because there are still these eviction moratoriums going on, which we've discussed many times in this group. For those of you who I'm sure have read any of the news, there are multiple eviction moratoriums going on. There's a local, like based on the city, there's a county-wide in Los Angeles County. There's a statewide in the state of California, and there's a federal eviction moratorium, all of which are being challenged, but as of right now are still in effect. Despite that, and that there are some, there are definitely examples of people who are, very behind on their rent, months and months behind. But overall, collection rates have still been very, very strong. In our case, collection rates have been over 90% throughout the entire pandemic. We are now at a collection rate of 98%, which is where we were pre-pandemic. So I think that surprises a lot of folks that collections have been that strong. Obviously, it depends, on the building. Obviously, if you have 2 units and one tenant isn't paying, that's a problem. We had that at the beginning of the pandemic, and we did have someone who had to sell because they weren't able to afford that property. And we still have another issue with that, another duplex in Highland Park that we manage, that we have that issue. But most of the tenants that we're dealing with, like I said, overall are paying, or at least trying to pay. And then also the state has stepped in and is trying to help out tenants and landlords by the new AB 3088, which allows landlords and or tenants to apply for basically 80% of the previous rent that's been due if the landlord is willing to forgive 20%, which we have been counseling a lot of our landlord clients to do. The issue is that the tenants also have to agree to this. And sometimes the tenants, surprisingly, have not been doing that, which is a little bit surprising, because they also have to, part of it's also that the tenants have to provide some type of income showing, that their income is below a certain percentage in order to qualify. So that might be one of the reasons. We are seeing a lot of people being, getting interested, getting back into the multifamily game after having sat up for a couple of quarters. Prices are starting to, adjust again. Cap rates never really went down that much during the pandemic. We're still seeing cap rates throughout Los Angeles in the 4s and sometimes the 5s. Like I said, depending on the building, people are still getting financing. They're seeing that they may have to put down a little bit more money depending on the lender, as lenders are becoming more conservative when it comes to financing. So one of the things we always talk about is needs and wants. We often talk about any off-market properties we have coming up. I have 2 off-market properties that I'm going to be presenting here on the market shortly. So if any of you have interest in this, Ken Dennis, who's on this call, is helping us put together the various flyers and OMs and everything right now. We have a 10-unit in East Hollywood on Lexington Avenue, in the 5600 block of Lexington Avenue. There are 8 1-bedrooms and 2 2-bedrooms. This property has not been on the market for 50 years. It is a classic value add play. You have tenants who are paying below market rents. And so we are planning to bring this to the market at 2.4 million. So if any of you are interested or have any buyers, please let me know. We also, just on the residential side, we have a single family home actually coming on the market in Toluca Woods, which is just next to Toluca Lake in North Hollywood. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet that's been remodeled. And there's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. There's a garage that's been converted into an ADU. That's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. So total of 3-bedroom, 3 baths. And the garage is like 400 square feet, and that's also been remodeled. And there's a decent sized yard, and we're bringing that to the market at $995. Those are the ones we have coming to the market. Is there anyone here that has anything that they're looking for? They have clients looking for, they themselves are looking for. This is an opportunity to kind of discuss, what if anybody has any other listings.
A couple quick questions about your off-market listings.
Sure.
I do a lot of buyer representation in the multifamily space. The 10 unit that you have, are there any issues with rent collections, any hardships due to COVID?
That's the first question. I'm not aware of any. No, all 10 tenants are paying rent as far as I know. I will say that the rents are substantially below market.
Got it. And then the single family, the ADU conversion, is that currently being rented out to a tenant?
Currently, the entire property is vacant.
Awesome. Thank you, Will. I appreciate
Yeah,
a follow up.
Yep.
Will, David has a question on the chat.
Yeah, I saw that. So Dave says, I would be interested in learning about the 10-unit building. How do you deal with existing below market rents? That is a very good question. So depending on your area, you have to decide if the property is under rent control or not under rent control. In this case, it's in Los Angeles City, which means it is under Los Angeles, and it's built before 1978, which is the main criteria in the city of Los Angeles of whether a property is under rent control or not. So in this case, it's a building built before 1978. It is under rent control, which means that it's subject to LA City rent control rules, which means that tenants are allowed to stay in their unit. And there's a limit in terms of how, and when I say stay in their unit, that means even after their lease has expired, they have the right to a month-to-month occupancy after that. And there's a limit in terms of how much you can raise the rent. It's between 0 and 7%. Every year, the rent control board, stabilization board of the city of Los Angeles votes of how much that is. For between 2012 and 2019, that amount was 3%. In 2019, that was raised to 4%. And then when the pandemic hit, they brought it down to 0. So right now, if you are in the city of Los Angeles and you have a rent controlled property, you cannot do an increase. Once again, that's only for properties that are pre-1978. If you're between 1978 and 2006, okay, and that's very specific, and the reason being is because there's a statewide rule that says that those types of properties are under state rent control. And that rent control regime is a little bit different. It's a little bit more open in terms of what you can do with your property. There are different rules in terms of being able to raise it. It's usually the CPI plus a certain percentage. You can look it up online, what that percentage would be in your area. And it's also, tenants can only be removed for just cause, but if just cause would, if you are able to ask a tenant to vacate due to just cause, if you need to do a substantial renovation, say, need to go in there and really do some work, they would ask for a 1-month tenant relocation fee. That's for the statewide rule. For the city of Los Angeles to do a tenant relocation, that's a very different set of criteria. It's tenant relocations can be between $9,000 and $20,000. And that's what's required by the city. Some developers will pay more than that because tenants are not required to take that tenant relocation fee. Another question from David. If you want tenants to leave, oh, yes, I just answered your question. Very good. So, and then any building built after 2006 at this point, which is 15 years from now, from this year, those units are considered not are not considered under rent control. And Dave, I'm happy to send you the OM. Ken will take down your information, and we will send you the flyer and the OM as soon as it's ready. Are there any other wants and needs? I know that, one of the questions we ask when you sign up is what is your interest? And I saw that, certain people had different interests. So feel free, this is your time, this kind of open discussion where if you have any questions regarding multifamily, this is your chance to bring it up.
I have a general question about multifamily financing. I've noticed in the past couple of weeks, interest rates for 2 to 4 unit properties, non-owner occupied, have increased. I was looking around like 3.25%, a few weeks ago. And I was talking to my lender today, and he said it's up to 4.275.
Wow.
I believe Fannie is now limiting the amount of non-owner occupied loans in that 2 to 4 unit space. I was wondering, if you had any information on that, and what we may potentially see in the future.
I am hearing that as well. I'm hearing that Fannie is no longer supporting exactly non-owner occupied 2 to 4 units. So for those of you who are aware, so there's 2 types of lending for multifamily properties. So one is for kind of 1 to 4 unit properties, which is still under technically residential financing. And then the other is for 5 units and above. So in the 5 units and above space, that's commercial financing, and that's a different set of criteria. Typically, a lender will just look at the property, they will look at the income of the property, and then they will tell you how much down payment you need to put down. They will say, okay, based on the criteria, you need to put down 30%, 35, 40, 25, whatever it is. So they will look at it as a business. In the 1 to 4, 2 to 4 unit market space, it's a different set of criteria, right? Because there's different lending requirements. And until recently, Fannie and Freddie had said that they would buy and sell those mortgages just like a single family mortgage. But recently, Fannie said that they would not do that for investment properties only. So that's raised the cost of the interest rate because basically that means that you can't sell those loans as easily on the market if Fannie is not going to guarantee them. So that's why I think you're starting to see those interest rates rise a bit. I hadn't heard that it had gone all the way up to 4.2. I'm actually shopping for one myself. So I think, it's worth shopping around and seeing what you can get, but I expect that, if Fannie and Freddie continue to stick to that, then yes, interest rates will rise. I mean, that's almost a guarantee. Couple of other questions. MY says, we have a triplex in South Central Los Angeles appraised at $825 in October. 1 unit vacant, ready for house hacking. It is in OZ, which is an opportunity zone, so great for investors as well. Very good. If you want to share more information, feel free, always. So this is a good example. So these are the questions I would ask, right? Okay, first question, what's the rent roll, right? What's the rent roll? What's the unit mix? Okay. Another question that I think Chris asked earlier, like, has anybody, is there any non-payment for COVID? Like, has anybody not been paying? I always ask parking. What's the parking situation? These are all the initial things. And then I would always want to look at least 2 years of profit and loss from the seller. So what is your income during those 2 years, and what are the expenses during those 2 years? So those are all questions that I start to ask whenever I'm looking for one of my buyer clients. Let's see. David is also asking for information on the triplex as well. If you put any information, obviously here, we will be happy to share it with everybody after the call. Are there any other questions or concerns? Dave Padilla, hello, how are you? We are asking everybody to introduce themselves. Why don't you just do a quick introduction?
Hi, my name's Dave Padilla, and Will's been my agent before, and Ken is now helping me lease out some of my properties, and I'm enjoying the process working with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you. I see Olivia has joined us. Olivia, do you mind doing a quick introduction?
Not at all. Hi, my name is Olivia. Actually, I'm a real estate agent in Los Angeles as well. So just came here to learn.
Very good. We get a lot of real estate agents. Are you primarily residential or are you multifamily?
Primarily residential.
Very good. Very good. Nice to meet you. Cindy, I see you've joined us.
Hi.
Hi. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, I'm a real estate agent with the collective. How are you guys? So I'm here to learn as well.
Very good. And then finally, I see Lucero has joined us from New York Life.
Hi, yes, I'm Lucero. I just saw this and I'm like, I'm going to be logging in here. I am actually a financial advisor. So if anybody has any questions or just anything regarding that, feel free to contact me. I can put my info on the chat as well.
Fantastic. Yes, feel free, everybody, to obviously, if you want to share info, we will share ours as well. And I think, being a financial advisor is a good segue into our guest speaker. So let me introduce to you all Sevan Gorginian. Did I pronounce that right, Sevan?
2 thumbs up. I wish you were the announcer during my graduation.
Well, I've had people butcher my last name, so I get it. Sevan is an experienced bankruptcy attorney focused on personal and business, small business bankruptcies. He is ranked in the top 5 consumer bankruptcy attorneys in Los Angeles based on online reviews. I will also say that we are one of the top 5 property management companies based on online reviews. So you and I share that in common. He is also an adjunct professor at CSUN, where he teaches business law at the Nazarian College of Business. Prior to starting his own practice, he was an associate at Arent Fox LLP, where he focused on larger bankruptcy cases and trustee representation. He is a frequent speaker at different organizations wherein he garners an attendance of over 1,000 participants and is ranked among the top speaker at CPA Academy and CalCPA for his knowledge and teaching capabilities. Sevan is here to talk to us about bankruptcy and how it affects real estate. And we really appreciate your time. So take it away, Sevan.
Thank you, Will. All right, I'm gonna share my slides. I know we all have a Zoom fatigue. Hold on, where the hell did my slides go? Okay. So I gotta tell you, teaching by Zoom is no fun either. So whenever I have my students, I'm staring at like 40 black boxes for like 3 hours. So I can't wait to get back in the classroom. Let me share my screen, and I will have time for the end for a Q&A. Will, how long do I have, just so I can keep my time on track?
Like 25 or so, and then we want to, give people time for questions.
Okay. So let me get my slides up. Hopefully you recognize this handsome person on your screen. It's me with a lot of Photoshop. All right. Okay, everyone, and I will be sharing these slides later. You guys can have my slides. I'm happy to share it. So my name is Sevan Gorginian. I am a bankruptcy attorney. This is all I do. I'm going to tell you how this affects real estate and where some deals can be found, with respect to real estate in the market. That's my office address at the bottom. That's my website at the bottom. I created the website myself. I'm very proud of it. And if you need to get in touch with me, that's my phone number, that's my email address, and a little bit about me. So I only focus on Chapter 7 and 13 bankruptcies, which I'll tell you. As I mentioned, I'm a professor at the CSUN. And yeah, if you look me up online, I'm pretty proud of it. I've worked very hard for it, but I am one of the #1 rated bankruptcy attorneys in the Tri-City area. Recipient of numerous super lawyer awards and all that good stuff. More importantly, I'm a father, so I have a new 5-month-old who burps in my face and poops in my palm, but I love it. I'm married to my best friend from 4th grade, Mark Keppel in Glendale. I am a foodie because my wife is a professional chef. I'm also a magician, and I'm a coffee snob. So I roast my own coffee, and soon I'll be growing my own coffee beans. So, that's it, just a little bit about me. So a couple of disclaimers. Obviously, I would not be an attorney without having disclaimers. Keep in mind, this is just for information purposes. The things you learned today is the law, but obviously, I'm not your lawyer, so don't run with this information without consulting with an attorney. And I am also a debt relief agency, and the California Bar requires me to tell you that this is attorney advertising. All right, let's talk about today's topics, everyone. These are the topics I'm going to cover today. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the basics of Chapter 7 bankruptcy and how it relates to the sale of real estate within a bankruptcy. A couple of the main questions I get is, will I lose my home if I file bankruptcy? And what happens to real estate that's being sold through bankruptcy? I'm going to show you some of the real estate deals you can find through a bankruptcy that will not hit the MLS, that will not hit Redfin and all that stuff. It's going to be swooped up by people that have a lot of cash available. I'm going to talk to you about how you can make money by representing the Chapter 7 trustees and what they do and how they sell properties to a bankruptcy. Lastly, I'm going to talk to you guys, if you are on the buyer side or on the seller side, I'll talk to you about both, how to be careful about these judgment liens that are starting to attach to property, okay? And what all that good stuff means. All right, as I tell my students, don't let the next slide scare you. It has a lot of information. This is intended just for your own benefit. You could see this information on my website. And I just want to talk to you a little about bankruptcy, and you could share this with your clients, but a lot of people don't understand kind of how it works. I'm going to go through these bullet points. And so basically Chapter 7 bankruptcy is designed for those that want to get a fresh start. Okay, this is all I do. It takes about 100 days from start to finish, estimate about 3 months. Most of the things you have to do in this process is you have to complete these online credit counseling classes. It's kind of like traffic school. No one really pays attention. You just watch some stupid videos and click a box and you're done. I shouldn't be telling you that, but hey, that's the truth. Then there's an interview you do with a trustee, and then the case is over. The general cost for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy can range from $1,500 all the way up to $2,500. And this depends on how many creditors, whether there's any lawsuits and things like that. Creditors. The creditors are people that you owe money to. They have the right to object to your bankruptcy or to have their debt be deemed non-dischargeable because you screwed them. You committed fraud. I also represent some creditors when I need to go into another person's bankruptcy and to protect my client's claim. So if you have someone who has a lien against the property, or if they were screwed out of their money, they are creditors. The third thing is, as it says on bullet point number 3, after the trustee's interview is over, there isn't much to do. The trustee will file something called a no asset report, basically saying, there's nothing here. This case can proceed forward, okay? At the end of the case, the court will enter the official utopian discharge order. This is the important discharge order that eliminates all your debts, and you get a clean bill of health. What a lot of people don't know is they think, oh my God, the bankruptcy is going to screw me for 10 years. Not so. Your credit score will start to rise about 3 months after the bankruptcy is over. I have clients that once we finished, they were in the mid 500s, and sure enough, they're back up into 650s, and then they qualify for more debt. You'll be able to get new credit cards right after the bankruptcy, which sounds strange, but because your debts have been clean, you're a much better client to give credit cards to. I know that Discover Financial, also Discover Card, same thing, which is funny because once the bankruptcy is over, they send you a congratulations card with a Discover card saying, congratulations on your bankruptcy discharge. Here's a new Discover card, Sounds weird, but they're more willing to give you a credit card. So a couple of the things on the bottom that the Chapter 7 discharge gets rid of is obviously, we got credit card debt, personal loans, business loans, SBA loans. So one of the big things that we're seeing now, obviously, is these big SBA loans, the economic injury disaster loan, the PPP loan. The government's just spitting out money. Now, one of the problems that I am seeing is people are not using that money properly. So the SBA is starting to audit on the use of the PPP loan and also the EIDL loan. So I know most of you have taken PPP loans or EIDL loans. As long as it's under $100,000, you're not that much at risk. So, but these are for the businesses and business owners who took $300,000, and now the SBA is saying, "What the hell did you do with our money?" And most of the answer that my clients tell me in confidence is, "Hey, Sevan, I used it to remodel my backyard." You're an idiot. So, but it's okay. We can get rid of them in a bankruptcy. All right. Judgments can get discharged if you have a repossession, garnishments. Even if your home is subject to foreclosure, we can stop that foreclosure and you'll be able to keep your home. Income taxes are dischargeable. Certain student loans are dischargeable. So don't believe the myths that student loans are not dischargeable. Some of them are, and those are the ones that are private student loans. If you went to Marinello Cosmetology School, okay, those are all private loans that can be discharged. All right, last month I helped a client discharge $250,000 of income taxes from 2013 to 2015. And I got a nice, I took it home, a big bottle of Blue Label. So I don't drink scotch, so it's gonna sit there and I'm gonna impress my friends with it. All right, so on a timeline, this is kind of how it works for a bankruptcy. Once the petition is filed, it takes about 100 days until the bankruptcy is over. You'll have your meeting with the trustee about on day 30. Creditors have a deadline to file an objection. So if Visa thinks you screw them because they see a Apple Store charge right before the bankruptcy, they'll come and object. And knock on wood, if everything goes well, you'll reach the end of the road, you'll get your discharge, and your debts are gone. Okay. All right. Now, the most important question that comes up is, am I going to lose my house? The quick answer is, as long as your equity in the house is less than $600,000, and this includes your clients, okay? If the equity in the house is less than $600,000, you are fine. The homestead, this is called the Homestead Exemption. So the Homestead Exemption has actually recently been increased. If you look on the middle of the paragraph, the prior exemption, it was a low, measly $75,000 if you're single, $100,000 if you're married or head of household. That's what HOH means, or $175,000 if you're 65 or over. This was the Homestead Exemption up until January 2021. Regardless of your political views, one of the best things that Governor Newsom did was sign this into law, which increased the Homestead Exemption to LA County to be $600,000. This is incredible. People that came to me, they said, hey, I got all this credit card debt and this SBA loan, but I have a house that has $400,000 of equity. Before January, I would say, oh man, you're a little screwed. We can still do a bankruptcy, but it's going to be a Chapter 13 repayment plan, which takes like 5 years. Now I could say, don't worry, you get to keep your house with $600,000 of equity and we can get rid of all that debt. So this is a very powerful increase in our homestead exemption. So the example you see at the bottom, if your house is worth $950,000, you have a loan of $400,000. Well, there's equity in there, about $550,000. You can file a quick Chapter 7 bankruptcy, get rid of your debts, protect your home, and you'll be out in 100 days. Okay, so that's law number one. Now, I usually try to tell my clients what homestead means. Homestead means your home. It does not mean your investment property. So clients that come to me that say, oh, I also have this a condo in Vegas that has $300,000 of equity. Well, do you live there? No. So you cannot protect that. All right. So keep in mind that homestead exemption means it has to be your home. Now, a little trick I'll share with you is I will tell you, why don't you move into the house in Vegas and stay there for 3 months, and then we'll say that's your homestead, and then we'll be able to protect your home. That's a little lawyerly trick, but that's kind of one of the tips I give my clients. Now, most of you, hopefully all of you, have heard about tenants in common. Here's how people who file bankruptcy with real estate get into trouble, and here's where money can be made, is when you file bankruptcy and you are a partial owner of a property, you're a tenant in common, and you have a partial share of property. The bankruptcy trustee can sell your tenant in common interest in that property, okay? So the first paragraph says, this can result in the trustee selling your tenant in common, so I call it just a tick. So your share would go into the bankruptcy. Your homestead exemption cannot protect it. So I'm going to pick a few people on my screen. Let's say Chris, Jim, and Marcus and I, we have a property, and each of us is a 1/3 owner. I think I named 4 people, and I'm saying 1/3. Lawyers don't know math. So let's say each of us has a 1/3 tenant in common interest. Let's say, God forbid, Jim has to go file bankruptcy, all right? If Jim goes and files bankruptcy, his 1/3 tenant in common share on that property goes into the bankruptcy. You cannot use your homestead to exempt it. The trustee will say, okay, I'm going to go sell and market your 1/3 interest in this property. They sell it, and now we have a new owner. Let's say Takeshi goes and tells the trustee, I'll buy Jim's 1/3 interest. Well, guess what? Now we have a new tenant in common owner. Takeshi's going to show up and say, hey guys, I'm your new partner. We're going to say, who the hell are you? So your interest can be sold. More drastic than that, the trustee can actually sell the entire property. Obviously, our 1/3 shares would be reimbursed, But the point is that one tenant in common can screw it for the rest. What's the moral of the story? Be careful who you become a tenant in common with. Okay, so because you'll never know if they're going to need to file bankruptcy, and sure enough, the property can be sold underneath you. All right, and that's the example I have in the middle of the screen. So just be cautious of who you tenant in common with. You can't use your homestead to protect it. I'm happy to answer more questions about this towards the end. All right, now let's talk about real estate deals in a bankruptcy. Make sure you get friendly with bankruptcy attorneys such as myself, because we see these deals come through quickly, and it's usually being sold off market, and the deals are already done before it even hits the MLS or there's a court approval, okay? I'm gonna show you where to look. I'm gonna share my screen and you will see it. Bankruptcy courts are supposed to hold auctions to sell these properties. And either the debtor, the person who's filing the bankruptcy, has the right to sell their property, or the Chapter 7 trustee says, I'm going to take your property and sell it, or I'm going to take your 1/3 share in that tenant in common and sell it. There's lots of great deals that are funneled through bankruptcy auctions. This includes real estate, personal property, ownership in companies. You know, you can have a company, so my 50% share in my wife's company can be sold if I file bankruptcy, all right? And I'll talk to you what a stalking horse bidder is. I always like to write stalking horse because it's not, pantyhose stockings. It's a stalking, S-T-A-L-K-I-N-G. All right. Whoops. Let's take a look. Let me, I'm gonna pull up this slide. All right. So this is the link. I'm gonna click on the link. Let's see where that takes me. All right. So I'm gonna share my entire screen now. All right. Share. Zoom group chat. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Okay. So you guys should be able to see my entire screen. Are you guys able to see this court's website in front of you? Yes? All right, good. So if you click on that link, you'll come here to the bankruptcy court's website. I'm going to go to the home page. All right. So this is our wonderful homepage. Now it's strange. It's like, well, where are these auctions? I mean, you usually don't hear about it, right? But it's here. You come to the court's website and you got to scroll all the way to the bottom. I don't know why this is so hidden, but you got to scroll all the way to the bottom. Down here, this funny word, it says sale of estate property. You click here and it brings you to this link. This link in my slides will bring you here. So these are the assets that are being auctioned off through the bankruptcy. And I'm going to open up some of them and we'll take a look. Obviously, the ones that say real property is real estate. The ones that are miscellaneous, it could be anything from, I don't know, random personal property. We'll take a look at some of them. Here's some equipment over here. So let's take a look at real property. And I know which ones are in the LA area. So here's one in real property. Let's click this. This will open up a PDF showing you details about the bidding and auction procedure and what you have to do, and obviously what the deal is. All right. So this is the property that's being auctioned on 4/22 at 11 a.m. Location, the bankruptcy courthouse. It's going to be done by phone. Did you know about this? No. But it's public, you know. So what's being sold? This property on Moritz Drive in Crescent Line. It's being sold for $82,000. You're like, hey, what the hell is this property? Now, most of the time, this proposed sale price is generally about 40% below market, okay? And only those that show up and bid will be able to purchase this property. So I'm curious to see what this property is. So let's take a look. 24567 St. Moritz Drive. I bet you this is a piece of land. 245675, 245675. Yep, it's a piece of land. So, oh, look at that. It's a piece of land right by Lake Gregory. Do any of your clients want a lakeside land to build their retirement home? So it says 89,000. So here. So this is a piece of land, you know, it has ice. So the point is that this, you know, if you have a client like, hey, you know, Will, find me some land. Well, here's some land. And let's go back over here. it's being proposed sale price at $82,000. Let me tell you, there's not going to be a lot of people showing up on April 22nd. Okay, so you can start your bid lower. Now, you're probably asking, well, where do I get more information? If you go on page 2, you can always contact the attorney. I know Sophia, I know Michael Berger, they're great attorneys. So it says the overbid must be all cash, so you have to have your financing in place. So no contingencies, overbid increments of $2,500. So if you want to go bid, your next overbid must be $2,500 or more, okay? And this is done in the bankruptcy court. So that's kind of how the game is played, all right? Let's take a look at another property. Let's see, this is gonna be up north. I'm just gonna open some of these up because, all right, let's see what else we got here. Let's zoom down, okay. So notice over here, this is a Chapter 7 trustee, Rosendo Gonzalez, okay? So the trustee is selling, this person filed bankruptcy, Samuel Kozaski filed bankruptcy, and the trustee is selling this person's property located in Victorville on 15513 Hesperia. It's being sold at 173. They're saying brokers, you can get commissions, you know, and it's being sold as is, no shock. Auction will be held on 422. So, and if you want more information, you could contact this person and get more information. But I'm curious, I want to take a look at this property. 15513 Hesperia. 15513 Hesperia in Victorville. All right, here's realtor.com. So it says 99,000. So it's this house over here, okay? I have no idea what the Zillow value is. So Zillow says it's worth $100,000, or its Zestimate 101,000. But if you go to the auction and say, hey, I got a client that's willing to pay 40,000, you know, the trustee will say, okay, and any other bids? No, great. You just bought your property for that much money. But they're starting at 173, and you do have an option to go look at the property and things like that. So, and last but not least, let's just take a look at another one. Here's another one on Aliso Canyon and Los Alamos. Starting bid at nearly $1.5 million. This usually tells me the property is worth about $2 million, okay? So that's kind of how the game is played, okay? People get a lot of good deals. I know personally, when I used to represent the trustees, there was this property in the Venice Canals, which is a great area. So it was in the Venice Canals. It was one of those mansions right up against the canal. The market price was about $4 million. There was a rich Chinese investor that came and got it for a little bit less than $3 million, okay? It was like $2.8 million. They got a $4 million property for $2.8 million. Wow. You know, it was just great. And there was like, okay, any other bidders? No? Great, sold. So if you're looking for some random good deals for your clients, you could find them here on the Bankruptcy Court's website. These things get updated continuously, okay? So, and there is random things that, so I mean, I'm just gonna check what this miscellaneous is. Sometimes it's just like a business interest. So residual interest, oh, so this is, so what they're selling is this company filed American Sterling Corporation, and what they're selling is residual interest in a motion picture called The Annihilation of Fish, okay? So if you have a random client that's like, I don't know, Will, find me some movie deals. Okay, well, you want to buy the residual interest in this movie? And they're selling it for $20,000. So there's sometimes good deals here. And this is only the Central District Court's website I'm showing you. We have the Southern District, which controls San Diego and down south. There's a Northern District, and every bankruptcy district across the nation, okay? Each of them has its own website. What I'm showing you is just the Central District that's in our local area here. So, but my goal is to show you where to find these, okay? So again, if you go to any website, you'll see them down here called the Sale of Estate Property. All right, let me go back to my slides. All right. Okay, so, oopsie. Now, what is a stalking horse bidder? the stalking horse bidder is such an interesting concept that occurs in bankruptcy. So you know that a $1.5 million property we just looked at. Now we sit there, we're wondering like, oh, I wonder what kind of property that is. I mean, I don't want to take a risk, you know, it's probably crap. Well, the bankruptcy court has a system to address this. It allows an investor to come in and say, you know, we'll do the due diligence, okay? We'll go and look at the property and we will make the initial offer. So the investor or buyer that takes the lead, that's called the stalking horse bidder. I don't know why it's called that, it just is. If that person takes the time to investigate, they look at the liens and all this stuff, and then they come to court and saying, okay, we're ready to make our initial offer. We want to offer 1.5 million. Well, if Will is smart, Will is going to be tracking the stalking horse bidder saying, well, if that guy's buying it, it must be good. They did all the work. So if they're willing to pay 1.5, sure, Your Honor, we'd like to bid 1.6. Now, how is that fair to the original bidder that did all the legwork? Well, it's fair because the bankruptcy court will require the stalking horse bidder to be compensated for their time. And that's called the breakup fee. So if Will's client overbids the stalking horse bidder, the initial bidder, Will's client would also have to pay about a $20,000 breakup fee to the stalking horse bidder. Now, that's a great deal for stalking horse bidders because they do all the work, and some of them, that's their business, is they go, they do the due diligence, they investigate these assets, they show up to court, and if they're outbid, well, great, I just made $25,000 doing some due diligence, and Will's client can have this property, I don't care. So if you get engaged in this bankruptcy sales, take note of what a stalking horse bidder is, okay? It's a pretty interesting concept. Now, the Chapter 7 trustees oftentimes need help to sell these properties. You know, somebody files bankruptcy, corporation files bankruptcy, and they have a ton of properties, now it's in the bankruptcy. They need help to sell these properties. Who do they call? Your trusted real estate agent, okay? The trustees are very busy people. So they'll pick up the phone and call Will and say, Will, do you know anything about the Silver Lake area? Yes, I do. This is my area of expertise. Great. Can you tell me how much you could sell this property for that's in the bankruptcy? And the trustee will retain Will to represent the trustee on the court's behalf to sell these assets through the auction process. And it's done exactly how you guys do your jobs anyway. So, but now you guys have a new client, which are the trustees. And this is a great source of income. And there's only a handful of agents that I usually see being contacted, okay? So one way to get on the trustees' radar is to get very chummy with them, okay? If you know trustees in your networking groups, if they say, oh, I'm a Chapter 7 trustee, ding, 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 you want to be friends with that person because the first person they're going to call is you, okay? If you're knowledgeable about your market, remember the property I showed you in Victorville? The LA trustee has no idea about Victorville nor where it is. So they'll say, oh, I know Will does Victorville. Hey, Will, I got this property for you. Can you sell this? Sure, okay? So let me show you who these trustees are and how to find them. Let me click on, whoops. All right, let me share my screen. Whoa, where's my share button? So if you click on that slide, you'll go to the U.S. trustees website, and these are the panel of trustees. And they're all over the country, Arizona, et cetera. So let's go to California. These are the trustees. Sorry if it's not, how do I zoom in? Sorry if it's too small. But these are the trustees in the Central District. These are representatives of the court. So you might know some of them, you know, Arthur Cisneros, Riverside, Carolyn Dye. So these are the trustees that are in charge of selling assets through a bankruptcy. So you could send them a letter saying, you know, hey, Jeff Golden, my name is Will, and just want to introduce myself, etc. If you ever have a property in this area, please let me know, and I'll be happy to give you a free broken price opinion, whatever. Okay.
Sevan, we're almost done. If you don't mind wrapping up, and then we can go to Q&A.
Sure. Let me just go back to my slide, and then we'll jump to the Q&A. All right. So I will, hey, what happened to my slide? Sorry. All right, okay. So couple of things about judgment liens that you must be careful about, especially if you represent buyers. This is the way judgments work, okay? I'm gonna speed this up, but you can read the slide yourself. Whenever someone has been sued, if there's a judgment against them, they might say, well, I don't have a home, whatever, but maybe you'll have a home in the future. If one of your clients has been sued in the past and they have a judgment against them, and the judgment is recorded in LA County, and if you help them buy a property, escrow closes, now they have a house in their name and it says Chris Crosby on title, and Chris Crosby has a judgment from American Express 10 years ago. This is what it looks like on your screen. There's something called the abstract of judgment that's filed with the county recorder's office. Once Chris closes escrow, this judgment will attach against the house as a second lien. Chris's bubble will be burst, and now you have a judgment recorded against your house. This sucks, okay? So please ask your buyer clients. Amy, quick question. Before we close this deal, have you been sued in the past? Are you aware of any judgments in your name? I think you should take the time to do this, or pay $1 and do a search. There's a click. You could click on that link and go, and you could do a search on your clients. And this is what it looks like. You'll put their name, and notice this person has a judgment in their name. So if I was representing DeSoto Donovan, I would not buy the house in their name at this moment until this judgment is taken care of. Okay. The rest, I'm gonna skip forward. We are able to avoid and get rid of judgment liens in a bankruptcy. This is one of my clients who came to me. They had filed a prior bankruptcy, and they had 3 judgments. Notice number 3, 4, and 5. These are the liens against the property. They had a little over $255,000 of judgments recorded against the property. They came to me, and I was able to eliminate. I had blocked off the client's name for privacy, even though it's public information. And we got rid of $255,000 of judgment liens. So I said, bye, Felicia, the 3 liens. These judgment creditors do not like me. Clients like me because now they get to pocket $255,000 in their pocket and not to be paid through escrow. You are able to avoid judgment liens through a bankruptcy. Okay, so what did you learn today? You learned a little bit about the basics of Chapter 7 bankruptcy. You learned about the Homestead Exemption. You found out how to find real estate deals through a bankruptcy, representing the trustees, and to be cautious of judgment liens. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I do have a monthly newsletter I write for myself. If you want to be part of it, you can tell me your email and you'll be on it, okay? I'm happy to answer any questions, so let me know.
Thank you, Sevan. That's very, very interesting. So we have a question from Chris. Can you structure an LLC to protect members against a bankruptcy? Your example scares me as an investor who is partnering with a small business owner. And I hear that because I often partner on my own deal. So I'm very curious about this.
Right. Can you structure an LLC to protect members against a bankruptcy? You can. There's something called a charging order. It's very complicated to explain. But let me tell you that the person that files the bankruptcy, you're kind of in the same situation again, because let's say you have it in an LLC, you have 3 LLC members. Please don't call it shareholders. That's a big pet peeve of mine. Shareholders are corporation, members are LLC. So if you're 3 LLC members and you file and one of them files a bankruptcy, their 1/3 LLC membership interest goes into the bankruptcy. That doesn't mean they're going to be able to take the property. There are definitely ways to protect it. Okay, there's something called the charging order, which prevents the trustee from taking assets through a bankruptcy. It's very complicated. I don't want to take too much of this time to answer it, but the answer is yes, there are ways to help with that.
I have a question because we are starting to, and we've done quite a few seminars on this in this group we have a number of apartment owners who are starting to convert their apartment properties into tenants in common. I'm actually involved in one right now. It's an 8-unit in West Hollywood and former apartment building. And we're selling off each of the units as a TIC, as a TIC. Each of the owners, they are basically required to live on the property. So I'm wondering, A, if any of them face bankruptcy, does that put the entire property you know, even if it's like it's a homestead for them, they're going to be using it as their home. I'm curious how that would work.
Yeah, it will only be a problem if the value of the property makes sense for the trustee to sell the entire property. Sometimes, I mean, if they will get more money into the estate, actually, let me backtrack. If I can sell your 1/8 tick and get enough money to pay these creditors, then they'll do that.
Yes.
But if the trustee will make much more money for the estate if they sell the entire building at once, because maybe nobody wants to buy 1/8. It's, hey, we got some wealthy Saudi prince wanting to buy the entire property. Well, yes, we're going to sell the entire building, but every TIC member will get their 1/36th share of the sale proceeds. But the answer is your property will be sold.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's so the one, if the 1/8 share, because right now we're obviously selling 1/8 shares of this property. So if the 1/8 share would cover the amount, I'm just trying to make sure I understand, cover the amount of their of whatever's owed, then they can sell that 1/8 share. But there is a possibility that the entire building could be sold.
Right. There's a possibility the entire building can be sold. I'll tell you the real life answer is the 1/8 share is going to be sold because the trustee will be facing
multiple lawsuits from all the other owners.
Right. The other 7/8 people are going to object to the trustee's sale, saying that's my homestead, whatever. It's going to create a mess. So trustees usually don't engage in that.
Don't go that way. Yeah, I would imagine that would be very, very complicated. Are there? Does anyone else have any other questions? I mean, I find it really interesting, the whole bankruptcy thing. Like I've not admittedly done a bankruptcy sale myself, you know, a purchase. I've done trustee sales, probate sales. So we've had to, you know, go to court and there could have been a potential overbid at that point. But the bankruptcy thing is very, very interesting because it's like you said. So you're saying, when you say that you have to have cash, so could I have a hard money lender? Like
anything. You know, you can have financing from a bank or whatever. You just have to be ready to go.
You just have to be ready to go.
And there are great deals. And, you know, people usually ask me, oh, so bankruptcy is busy now. I'm like, no, we're actually at a low because there's a lot of forbearances, a lot of help, etc. In my opinion, I think the commercial real estate market is going to be the first one to cause a shift in our economy. I can't tell you how many times during a week I get a call from the tenant on the ground floor. It could be a gym. It could be the coffee shop that's not operating. They call me, oh my God, we haven't paid 9 months. I need to file bankruptcy. Great, okay. On Thursday of the week, the landlord will call me. Hey, my damn tenants haven't been paying me rent. I got to pay this mortgage $300 million. What do I do? You know, first of all, I tell them now I'm conflicted out, but that tells me that commercial real estate owners are struggling.
You're absolutely 100% correct.
It's going to be a big, interesting shift. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on the board of the Silver Lake Chamber of Commerce. I know of a gym that is a year behind on their rent. Their rent's $20,000 a month.
Oh,
so they're at $250,000 and the landlord's not working with them. Yep. So both are in trouble, right? Because both the tenant owes now $250,000 and the landlord hasn't collected $250,000, right. You know? So you're absolutely right. I also see that shift, particularly obviously in retail and obviously in office. Those are the two areas that I see the biggest issue. Right. Multifamily a little less so, like I said, because collection rates have still been fairly strong, generally speaking. Or if people see themselves in trouble, they will sell and you know, try to figure it out that way, you know, because equity is still pretty strong. But you're absolutely correct on those others. I totally
and sometimes the fights that you will or you may not see is the landlord says, okay, Jim, fine, get out. There's a lot of equipment in there. But the gym has a loan with the SBA, and the SBA, the bank has a lien against those assets. So the bank will send a representative to go collect the stuff, and the landlord says, how dare you touch that equipment? That belongs to me. The landlord thinks somehow the laundry machines in the buildings are theirs, the gym equipment. So there's always a fight between the bank and the landlord.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, I've seen cops be called. The landlord called the cops. You know, this bank is trying to steal my assets.
And so what is the solution, or what is the resolve in that?
The resolve depends if the asset is a fixture, because if something is bolted to the ground,
right,
it generally belongs to the property owner. Okay,
right.
So this classic case was with the laundry business I had to deal with. The laundry machines are bolted into the building, and the bank came and, you know, bzz, 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 they're trying to take the machines out so they can go auction it off. Landlord called the cops. Cops came as if, you know, there's a terrorist attack with guns, you know. What the hell's happening? He goes, we're just taking our machines, you know. So yeah, usually the landlord will win if it's attached to the property.
Wow, good to know. So bolt everything down, guys.
Bolt down your iPads to the property.
Absolutely. Do we have any other questions or thoughts? I mean, this is a very fascinating topic to me. I think that, I mean, yeah, because I completely agree that we're going to see a shift here shortly, you know.
Yeah.
And there could be real opportunities, particularly in the commercial space. When I say commercial, specifically, I'm talking office and retail, you know, right, where you could see, obviously, movie theaters. You know, if anybody wants to buy an arc light right now, there's an opportunity there, you know. So, well, Sevan, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. It was very fascinating for me. I'm sure I'm going to be contacting you with a lot more questions. You know, if you want Sevan's information, if you want to put it in the chat, just so everybody has it. I know you had it on a slide earlier as well.
Yeah. And I will, Will, I don't know if you have opportunity to email everyone. I don't know how that works, or
yeah, I can do that as well. Absolutely.
Because I can share these slides for whoever that wants it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. We can share all that information. Any other last questions, thoughts, wants, or needs before we go? All right.
Just to thank you. I really enjoyed that presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Sevan, for that fantastic presentation. We really appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to send it to us, we can forward it on, you know, to everybody who requests it. And as we all know, we meet once a month, usually the second Wednesday of the month, right around this time. So feel free to join us for the next one. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.